Hello, good morning, children. This is MD Ramzan Beg. Today I am going to teach 8th class English, second unit of lessons. That it is the first lesson is A reading. Oliver asks for more. Before going to that, children, you see, second unit name is given as social issues. These social issues, there is a statement that it is home is the happiest place in the world. So, do you know that which is the happiest place in the world? Home only. So, for children and all people, home only is the happiest place in the world. So, here few questions also given to you. You can try to write the answers then. What does the sentence mean? And do you agree or disagree with the view expressed in the saying that it is a saying? Why? And do you like your home? Why? And the oral discourse is given. You have to talk it about on that it is the feelings of a homeless child. So one more thing, you have to know what are the social issues in the world and in the society, in our society also. In India especially, there are many social issues. You know that is child labor and girl child education. Not only these blind beliefs, and there are dowry systems, and so many issues are there. These are all social issues. Actually, you have to get an idea and write about what are the social issues. First, you take the paper and write down the names that what are the social issues in the society. And regarding this here, one lesson is given to you. Oliver asks for more. This is a reading. All of you get ready with the textbook. Oliver asks for more. This is written by Charles Dickens. He is a well-known novelist, English novelist. And Oliver is the character in the novel that it is written by Charles Dickens, one great English novelist he is. And this is he has written that novel Charles Dickens and Oliver Twist. Its name is Oliver Twist. Novel name is so in that novel this character is given child character who is an orphan, and the story also it is related to the orphans. So nowadays we are facing so many problems in the society. Orphans, those have no parents, and homeless children. These are few years ago only that a writer he saw these situations and he wrote he described in the novel. Oliver is a character. First of all, you have to know that Oliver is a character in the novel. He is a hero of the novel, a child hero. You see that first introduction here, what it is given to you. Oliver is now let me start that, all of you get ready. This is an extract from the novel Oliver Twist, written by British novelist Charles Dickens in between 1812 and 70. In between he lived. It is the story of an orphan boy named Oliver who is brought to a children's home. That it is the background of this story. I think that you understand. This is the story taken from extract, means taken from piece of writing taken from Oliver Twist. Who wrote this? Charles Dickens, English novelist, famous English novelist. This is the background of this story. Now let me come to that paragraph. All of you get ready. What happened here? Some character. Oliver is a character, and often children's home who is running. That names are given to you. Mr. Bumble and some other people are here given. That are people here. Let us see in the story. So Mr. Bumble walked on with long strides. Little Oliver, firmly grasping his gold-laced cuff, trotted beside him. He was walking along with this Mr. Bumble. Next, you see that Oliver had not been within the walls of the workhouse a quarter of an hour when Mr. Bumble informed him that the board had said he was to appear before it forthwith. Board means here committee members of that children's home or the church here. So Mr. Bumble informed this boy to appear before the board. Board means here that it is a committee having the members. Then, not having a very clearly defined notion of what a live board was, and Oliver was rather astonished, surprised by this information, and was not quite certain whether he wanted to laugh or cry. The boy did not know what is the live bird really. That is why he did not know whether to laugh or cry. He had no time to think about the matter. Mr. Bumble asked Oliver to follow him into a large whitewashed room where 8 or 10 gentlemen were sitting around a table. These people were sitting around the table, 8 to 10 people in the large room, whitewashed room. At the top of the table, seated in an armchair rather higher than the rest, was a particularly fat gentleman with a very round red face. One gentleman was sitting, he was described like this with a very round and red face he has. Rest of the people sitting around him. Bow to the board, said Bumble. Oliver brushed away 2 or 3 tears that were lingering in his eyes, and seeing no board but the table, bowed to that. So Mr. Bumble asked him to bow, means bend down to wish, to the table, to the board. Then, what is your name, boy? Said the gentleman in the high chair. Oliver was frightened at the sight of so many gentlemen, which made him trouble. The beadle gave him a tap on his back with his cane, which made him cry. So Oliver was really frightened, feared by seeing that sight of that many people sitting in front of him. That is why and not only this, that Mr. Bumble, he took the cane and hit him. With this, he began to cry. Why? Said the gentleman in the high chair. Listen to me. You know you are an orphan, I suppose, he said. What is that, sir? Inquired poor Oliver. The boy is a fool, I thought he was, said the gentleman in the white waistcoat. That one gentleman said like this, he is a poor boy. Hush, said the gentleman who had spoken first. You know you have got no father or mother, and that you were brought up by the parish, weren't you? One gentleman asked like this. He had no parents, that is why he was brought to this children's home. So parish is meaning also given to you, that it is a parish is a church committee. It is a church committee parish. Then, yes, sir, replied Oliver, weeping bitterly. He was crying. What are you crying for? Inquired the gentleman in the white waistcoat. I hope you say your prayers every night, said another gentleman in a gruff voice, and pray for the people who feed you and take care of you like a Christian. So that it is a Christianity running society, children's home. That is why they discussed about the thing about the prayer and some other. Yes, sir, stammered the boy. Unclearly, he said, the boy. Well, you have come here to be educated and taught a useful trade, said the red-faced gentleman in the high chair. He told like that. So you will begin to pick oakum tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, added the surly one in the white waistcoat. One gentleman said like this. That means Oliver bowed low, directed by the beadle, and was then hurried away to a large ward where on a rough, hard bed he sobbed himself to sleep. So he went into his room and began to sleep by asking these questions. He was in confusion. Then after, the members of this board were very wise and philosophical men. As they turned their attention to the workhouse, they discovered that it was the regular place of public entertainment for the poorer classes. It was the place where they had breakfast, dinner, tea and supper all the year round and free, where it was all play and no work. This was really a shocking state of affairs. They were of the opinion that the poor should be given only 2 alternatives, either to starve quickly outside the workhouse or gradually inside the house. With this view, they decided that the inmates of the workhouse would be issued 3 meals of thin gruel a day with an onion twice a week. This is a daily work of this workhouse. In this paragraph, clearly it is described. philosophy, that the people were philosophical men, that the board means committee members of that church. They were philosophical men, well skilled, well knowledgeable persons. These were, they have particular idea about the society. And after this that boy was described what to do, what not to do, all these things he was explained, and what is the regular place, what is the what are the duties of that, it is explained in this paragraph. Next, for the first 6 months after Oliver Twist was moved in, the system was in full operation. As a result, during this period, the number of the workhouse inmates got smaller, and the inmates themselves shrank in size and became thinner. So after 6 months, these inmates, means those are staying inside, the children, they become thinner, very thin. They are becoming thin in size. The room in which the boys were fed was a large stone hall with a big copper bowl at one end, out of which the master, dressed in an apron for the purpose and assisted by 1 or 2 women, ladled the gruel at mealtime. Of this festive composition, each boy had one basin full, and no more except on occasion of great public rejoicing, when he had 2 ounces and a quarter of bread besides. This is a system of distributing the gruel, that is the liquid food, to the children here. How much it is given, and on the special occasions how it is served. This is explained in the paragraph. Special occasions, rejoicing days, on these days that it will be extra amount, extra quantity, that it will be distributed to the children. The basins never wanted washing. That means the boys polished them with their spoons till they shone again. The children, they cleaned completely, they cleaned the basins, and there is no need of wash again. When they had performed this operation, they would sit staring at the copper bowl with such eager eyes, as if they could have devoured the big bowl itself and everything in it. At the same time, they sucked their fingers most carefully to catch up any stray splashes of gruel that might have stuck thereon. That means they completely, even the last particle of that gruel, they use it to suck. Suck means putting the fingers inside and taking it. Boys have generally excellent appetite. Oliver Twist and his companions suffered the tortures of slow starvation for 3 months. At last they got so voracious and wild with hunger that one boy, who was tall for his age and hadn't been used to that sort of thing. So the children, that it was very common thing for them to starve, struggle for that, what do you call that, hungry. They were habituated to maintain, to continue like this here. But there is one boy in the same children's home who was tall for his age, but he had not been used to that sort of things here, being starving and some other. It is not applied for him. For his father had kept a small cook shop. Why? Because his father was running a small cook shop. Then hinted darkly to his companions, and that unless he had another basin for gruel per day, he was afraid he might some night happen to eat the boy who slept next to him. That boy, he used to threaten. He used to threaten these other boys. If anybody not bring that another basin of gruel, he might eat the next boys because of hungry. Then, who happened to be a weakly youth of tender age, he had a wild, hungry eye, and they believed him. A council was held. Lots were cast as to who should walk up to the master after supper that evening and ask for more, and it fell to Oliver Twist. So, asking gruel for more, that it fell on this little boy Oliver Twist, that it was a choice to ask for more that day. The evening arrived, the boys took their places. The master, in his cook's uniform, stationed himself at the copper. His assistants ranged themselves behind him. The gruel was served out. The gruel disappeared The boys whispered to each other and winked at Oliver, while his next neighbors nudged him. Child as he was desperate with hunger and reckless with misery. He rose from the table and advancing to the master, basin and spoon in hand, said like this here. Somewhat alarmed at his own courage, he got courage and he went near to the master and he began to ask like this here. Please, sir, I want some more. Oliver asked with courage. Please, sir, I want some more. What do you think here? Gruel in the extra basin. The master was a fat, healthy man, but he turned very pale. He gazed in stupefied astonishment on the small rebel for some seconds. Rebel means who does against of something. Rebel. And then clung for support to the copper. The assistants were paralyzed with wonder, the boy with fear. Paralyzed means motionless. They became motionless here. What? Said the master at length in a... The master, again I repeat that, the master aimed a blow at Oliver's head with the ladle and shrieked aloud for that it is a beadle, an official of a church. The board was sitting in solemn meeting when Mr. Bumble rushed into the room in great excitement and addressing the gentleman in the high chair and said like this, Mr. Limkins, I beg your pardon. Sit, Oliver. Twist as asked for more. He went and informed this thing. Oliver asked for more. There was a general start. Horror was depicted on every countenance. Some fear, some attention, some confusion started among the people. For more, said Mr. Limkins, compose yourself, Bumble, and answer me distinctly. Do I understand that he asked for more after he had eaten the supper allotted by the board? He did, sir, replied Bumble. So that he asked, Oliver asked for more. That boy will be hung. He will be punished. Said the gentleman in the white waistcoat. I know that boy will be hung. Gentleman said like this. Nobody contradicted the prophetic gentleman's opinion. An excited discussion took place. Oliver was ordered into instant confinement, some prison like that, which is in the prison like that it is. And a bill was the next morning pasted on the outside of the gate, offering a reward of £5 to anybody who would take Oliver Twist off the hands of the parish. In other words, £5 and Oliver Twist were offered to any man or woman who wanted to apprentice to any trade, business or calling. This is the information pasted in the notice board outside. If anybody takes Oliver Twist out, they would be rewarded, they would be awarded. That means they want to continue Oliver Twist in the children's home. This is the end of this story. So few words I have given to you. You can also use these words. Beadle, an official of a church. Parish, a church committee. Oaking, loose fiber obtained by twisting and picking apart old ropes. Surly, serious or hungry. Cruel, that is gruel, a thin liquid food of oats, rice, etc. Devoured, ate hungrily or quickly. Appetite, the desire to eat, hunger. Voracious, wanting great quantities of food. Stupefied, shocked. Paralyzed means became motionless. Ladled, a long handled spoon used to serve liquids. Countenance, a person's face. Confinement, putting in a prison or a closed room. Apprentice, one who works under a skilled person. These are the meanings, and you can also read it once again. And next class, let us see.